Hello and welcome to the show. It's me, Andy Cooper, back for another Andy's Shed Live for today, which is Sunday the 17th of September 2017. Hello, good evening, and how are you? We're a little bit earlier than normal today. We are with you here at just after 6 p.m. on this Sunday evening because we've got quite a lot to do. It's going to be a busy one, this old show today. We've got all sorts on this show today. And remember, if you want to take part in the show, you can always get into our chat room, which we have, which you can have a little look at. It is over there somewhere. There it is. There's the chat room there. So if you want to take part in the chat room, just log on to YouTube and watch us live on YouTube, and you'll find the chat room there that you should be able to get into if you want to have a chat with us in there. So that is where the chat room hangs out. Remember also that if you want to get in touch with us in a slightly more leisurely and relaxed manner rather than doing it all live, then you can get in touch with us via our website, which is here. It's andyshed.colepress.net. That's andyshed.colepress.net, and you can give us a follow on there, and you can get in touch with us on there as well. You can send us private messages and things on the contact us page, and that is how you can get hold of us, and you can find out some of the projects that we've done on this show over the months and even years on there as well, like building a cargo tricycle and how to wire up old alternators to make them work with stationary engines, and all kinds of interesting stuff on there. So that's up there, andyshed.colepress.net. And remember, if you want to support the show, because it does cost us a bit of money to put these things on, and you also want some extra goodies for the show, then you can go to our Patreon site, which is here. It's patreon.com/AndysShed, and from just $1 a month you can support us and keep the shows on air, keep the videos coming on YouTube, and every little bit really does help. Like I say, it's just $1 a month it starts from. You can give more if you like, and the more you give, the better goodies that you get, because you get something when you support us on Patreon, whether it is kind of what's the word I'm looking for here, whether it's early access to new videos, whether it's special live shows that nobody else, only the Patreon subscribers have access to, or whether it's things like signed books and stuff like that. You can get it all through Patreon, so get over there and have a look if you want. patreon.com/AndysShed. This is a new thing that we've just started doing, so if you want to support us, you can do through that. Okay, right, tonight we are going back a little bit to basics. You will see a couple of telephones behind me over here. Well, it's time to do a bit more restoration work tonight, and it's time to get those restored, because one of those is a particularly interesting one. Because this red one, if I bring it over here, here it is. You'll see, if you know your British telephones, you'll know this is a 746. But wait, it's got letters around the dial. It's got no dial in it at the minute, but it's got letters around the dial. So that's a very unusual 746, because that is a 746L, a lettered one. And there weren't many of those made. So that is what we have here, and that is what we are going to be restoring tonight. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So have a little look at it. Here it is. Right, so there it is. As I said, it's a 746L, this. Pippa the dog's here helping me again as well. This is a 746L. Now, what this actually is, this is a restoration project already, and I've already done some work on this, because when this came, it was a case that came to me. It was the red case that I got, just the sort of top part of the case, and I think I got a handset with it as well, but not attached to it. So I got a handset, but not a handset that was attached. And then the bottom of it was also separate with some other bottoms. So we don't know if all these bits originally went together, but we do know the case is original, and it's original to having the dial bezel as well, which is an original one. You can tell that's an original dial bezel because the numbers are actually done in reverse on the back. It's actually a transparent plastic and the numbers are done in reverse on the back, and then it's painted red on the back over the top of the numbers. Then you look at it through the other side, and that's to protect it, because when it's on the phone, the numbers and the paint behind the numbers, then on the bottom, so this front surface you can't scratch the numbers off because they're on the other side. So that's how you tell a genuine one of those, because there are a lot of reproduction ones about. A lot of reproduction ones that are just screen printed onto a plastic bezel, and of course they rub off, so they're not very good. But this is a genuine one. So what are we going to be doing tonight? Well, we're going to see about putting a dial into this. Now I just happen to have a dial here. This is a GPO dial 21 that we restored on this show months ago now. And what we are going to do is we are going to take this dial and we are going to put this dial in this phone. So we're going to stick that in there, and we're going to show you how to do that. So right, let's get on with it. So first thing I need to do is grab my screwdriver, my trusty screwdriver, and we'll unwrap the line cord off this phone. Now this is a line cord that I've put on as a afterthought, basically, this line cord. It didn't come with one on, and I put this on the other day when I'd got nothing to do, this line cord. So we've now got the line cord on it. So first thing we have to do to get the top off is take this screw out of the back. So I'll put it back down on the desk again. Move everything else over a bit out of the way, and we'll take this screw out of the back. And remember, anybody who's got any questions, if you're joining us in the chat room, shout up in the chat room, and I will do my very best to answer them for you. Now this little screw will normally have a little spring on it as well, and you sometimes don't have to take them all the way out, but this one's missing its spring, and that's it's just the screw. Right, we'll take the top off and put the top to one side, and here's the innards of the phone. Now as you can see, it's not the cleanest phone you've ever seen inside. It is a bit grotty and gungy, but it has been converted to work on the modern British system. So this should, in theory, work. It's got 500 ohm bell coils in it, two 500 ohm bell coils. So it's got the little resistor put in to make it Ren 1 rather than the Ren 4 that it would originally have been. And that's a fairly well-known conversion that we've done on this show before, but if you've got any questions about that, just ask us and we'll point you in the direction of some diagrams and things. So what we are missing here is a dial, but what we have got are these 5 connections that go up to a dial. Can you see those? So that's all in place. We just need to basically drop the dial on. Now I've just seen a problem in doing this, because I've got the dial here, but I've got no dial surround. I've got no way of mounting it or anything. So this is where we have to look to another phone or see if we can find some bits, and I'm just looking around me and seeing what we've got that's lurking around, see if we've got any parts. And it looks like I haven't actually got any just kicking around nearby. See, this is live again, isn't it? And you suddenly realise that you've not got some of the bits that you wanted. But we'll find some of those bits in a minute. And Pippa the dog's back as well, aren't you, Pippa? Eh? Right. So what I'm going to do is put this one to one side for a moment and have a look at the other one that we've got. That all right, Pips? So this one we now know we need some bits for. We now know we need the little thing that goes on the dial. There is basically a clamp ring that goes around the dial that I haven't got here, unless there's one in this drawer. Let me just have a little rummage in this drawer behind me. See if I can find one of these clamp rings. No, I haven't got one there. And I haven't got a dial with one on either that's easy to borrow at the moment. So that's my fault. That's a bit that we needed for it that we haven't got, but I'll show you on this other phone that, because I have got another phone here that has got the clamp ring fitted to it. So I'll show you that one. And what the ring should be. So I'll just drop that in there for the time being, although it's not actually fitted. But it will look something like that when it's done. And that dial is clamped in, but I've just dropped it in for now. I'm just going to wrap it up again, just so I can move it out of the way. And we can have a look at the other one. That I've got. I always wrap them up like that. I always wrap phones like that. Wrap the line cord around them, just to basically tidy them up, sort of thing. So let's have a look at this grey one, because this one does seem to be all together. This one looks all complete. Now this is another one that I got a little while back, and we've not tried it yet, we've not tested it yet, so we're going to have a look at this one. So I'll undo the line cord. And as I unwind the line cord off this one, we need to have a look at this line cord as well. You'll see this is a fairly dirty line cord. It's been used, this line cord has. So what we do is we just need to inspect it, just need to have a look at it and just make sure it's not nicked or anything anywhere. Make sure there's no breaks or anything in it. And that looks fine. One thing it is missing, this, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it is missing the little plastic tab on the end of the standard UK plug here. There should be a little plastic tab on the side that kind of locks it into the socket and the wall. That little plastic tab is missing. They very often do go missing. It doesn't stop the thing working. In fact, sometimes if you're going to be carrying around your phone around, it's better not to have this plastic tab on the side, because then you can accidentally pull it out of the wall if if you go further than the wire will let you go. If you've got the little plastic lock tab thing on the side, you'd yank it out the wall and you'd probably do some damage if you accidentally walked around too far with it. So we've done that. So now we need to take out the screw out the back of this one. And this one has got the little spring on it, and in a moment you might just hear the spring release as the screw unthreads inside. Yeah, that's unthreaded. Oh, it's come right out, that has. There's sometimes a nut on the back of those which retains them, but it seems like it's probably not there on this one. So we'll take the dial, we'll take the handset off, and these are a bit difficult to get off these cases. It's much easier to deal with these cases if you take the dial finger wheel off. I might need a bigger screwdriver here. Yep, need a bigger screwdriver. So back to the old rummaging. Find a bigger one. There we go. That's more like it. And so what we'll do is just take that little screw out of there, put that to one side for safekeeping, that to one side for safekeeping, and then the top will lift off at the back, then forward at the front, just to unclip that little tab thing at the front there. That you can probably see this down here. And there's the inside of this phone. Now this one has not yet been converted, so we need to do a little bit of conversion inside this one. This one has not been converted for the modern plug and socket system, so we need to do the conversion. So we just check where everything goes. So if I just move these out of the way, they're normally sort of crossed over these two cords, but if you can see that this is your curly cord to your handset, and that should go red to T1, green to T2, blue to T3 and white to T10. That's fairly standard on these. It's not always quite like that if you get some Ericsson versions of these phones, but when it's a GPO one it is standard basically, and this is a GPO one. Might be built by Ericsson but built for the GPO. It's some of Ericsson's private ones, what they call N1900 phones, that are a little bit different. Okay, so what we then need to do is to have a little look at these. Now you see these links here, we need to take out one of these links. We need to take out this link and put a 3.3 kilo ohm resistor in there. So 3.3 kilo ohms. So that's what needs to go in there. Okay. So it's a 3.3 k ohm resistor going right in here. Right. Can you hear a phone going off in the background? So just bear with me a second, I'll stop that phone shouting at me. Right, I've stopped the phone shouting at me now, so I should be able to get away with it now. A bit easier. Right, sorry, I was miles away there, wasn't I? I'm absolutely miles away. Right, so what are we doing? We are basically doing this. We are looking at this phone and trying to get it working. Right. Sorry, it all happened at once there for a moment. Right, so we've taken that out, and I now need a 3.3 kilo ohm resistor. So let me find one. Somewhere in here I should have my little bag of resistors. There they are. I've got this little bag of resistors. I think this whole bag of resistors cost me about £1 from a shop in Sheffield called Bardwell's, which has recently closed down. Much sadness in Sheffield for people who make things and tinker with things like me about Bardwell's closing down, because Bardwell's was an electrical supply shop in Sheffield, and they basically have been going for years and years and years. You could even still get like valve radios at Bardwell's, and they've closed down a few weeks ago, so really sad about that. Right, so what we are going to do now is take our little resistor here, and we are going to shape it in such a way that we can fit it to the phone. So basically you're making two little things that will fit around the terminals. So we've shaped it, don't know if you can see that, like that. Can you see what I've done there? I made two little things on it to fit around the little terminals in the phone. So where I took that out, that link between T4 and T5, we're going to stick this resistor in, and that's basically going into the bell circuit. There and there, you see? Can you see it? That's in the bell circuit now, and what that will do is that will basically turn this into a phone with a REN value, a ringer equivalent number, whatever it is, of 1, rather than it having 4, because it's got 500 ohm coils. Now if it got 2000 ohm coils, then it wouldn't need the resistor, but because it's got these .500 ohm coils, it does need the resistor, because this was designed basically when you only had one phone on your line at home, maybe 2 at a pinch, not for like having 4, like 4 different rooms like we do now. So there's the resistor in place. If you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see that? I've put that in just there between terminals 4 and 5, and there. Right, okie dokie. Yep. And all the rest of it has been converted. All the rest of it happens to be in the right place. The blue wire there is to terminal 6, T6, which is where it should be. That's the blue coming from your line cord, that is. The red is T8, the white is to T18, and the green is on T15. Yeah, T15 the green is on. That's not actually connected to anything anymore, T15, so you just put green there just to park it there. And also you have to make sure that 16, 17, 18 and 19 are all strapped together with those little metal straps, which they are on this one, because I must have already half done it, or got it half converted. So this is now fully converted. So what we'll do is we'll put these back in. Now when you put these in, there's some debate as to which side the curly cord for the handset should go and which side the line cord could go. It doesn't really matter, it's not really crucial, but they normally are this way around, so you kind of cross them inside the phone, so they normally are that way round. Okay, right, so now we can put the top back on this phone and we should be able to then give it a whirl and see if it works. So let's let me have a look, see what the dial does for a start as well. Oh, dial seems reasonable. Right, so put the top back on. And this is much harder to do if you've left that finger plate on. If you've left this finger plate on, it's much harder to get the top case back on the phone. So you have been warned. Right, where have I put the little screw that goes in it? There it is. Right, so little screw. Now you'll see this screw here has got a spring on it. That's quite crucial. If they've not got the spring on, you can screw these screws in and not be able to get them out again. They need the spring on for them to pop out again. If you've not got the spring, don't screw them in too tight, otherwise you'll never get them out again. They'll just go round and round and round, because when you put it in, what happens is it goes beyond where there's threads on the screw, and the spring helps push the screw back out, back onto the threaded bit. But if you've not got the spring there, because you've gone beyond the threads on the screw, it just goes round and round and round, you'll never get it out again. So we've done that, we've put that back on. We will now put the finger wheel back on. And then we should be laughing. So when we come back in just a moment, we will test this and see how it goes. So right after this break, we'll give this phone a test. Back in a minute. Welcome back to Andy's Shed Live. We are restoring telephones tonight, and I'm just restoring this one that we've got here. I'm just putting the finger plate back on. We put a resistor in it to bring it up to the modern standards earlier, and that's it. It's there. It's done. Right, so what do we have to do now? Well, next step is to test it. Now, I'm quite lucky here in that I've got what we call a PBX system here. A little box of tricks that lets me ring one phone and dial into another one. So, I'll just find a little connection that I know is extension 23 on my little box of tricks. And then when I dial on another phone that I've got here, this black one, that one there should ring if I dial 23. And there you go, you can hear it ringing. And if I pick this one up, it'll stop ringing. There you go, like so. And I should be able to dial 21 on this one, and it'll ring my black one. And there's the black one ringing. If I pick the black one up, now what you do is blow down one and listen at the other to make sure they're working. So you got things like, yep, that's working. And then blow down this one, listen to that one. and that one don't seem to be working so well. That's really good when I do that, but this one, that's quiet in the earpiece of the black one as I'm blowing down this one that I've just restored. Now that points to the transmitter in this one maybe being a bit dodgy, so the transmitter in this one might need a coat of looking at. So there is something to think about. Maybe take that transmitter out. How do we do that? Well, basically all you do to get the transmitter out of one of these is you take the end off, which just unscrews like that, and there it is. And for some reason these are very often, if I get some of the other camera, for some reason these are very often twisted together like that. See how all those wires are twisted? And I tend to untwist them at least a bit and take a bit of the twist out of them, because they do get very twisted up. So there, done that. Put that in there, put that in there, like that, and there we have it. Okay, well, that might need a little coat of looking at. The other thing that I need to get is a little blank to go in there, a little plastic blank, because that's where a button would go, like a ringer on, ringer off button, or a redial button. But this phone isn't fitted with one, so it should have a little plastic blank in there, and you can get those plastic blanks. There is a company out there called Britphone who will make those plastic blanks new, and the plastic blanks are actually pretty much exactly the same as the old stock ones, so you can use a new plastic blank and it will be how it should be. So that's it. We have got at least this phone working, even if we didn't quite manage to get the red one behind me there working, which was giving us a bit of a problem. But this one is okay, so we'll unplug it again. I'll plug back in the phone I normally have plugged in. Like that. Pippa the dog is back, aren't you, Pips? Eh? Good girl. Good girl. So that's in there now. And once again we'll wind this wire up. Now both the wires on this phone, both the curly cord and also the main line cord on this phone are both a bit grotty. I just realised I put the handset down the wrong way. Somebody used to really shout at me for putting the handsets down the wrong way on phones. As I say, the curly cord and the line cord are a bit grotty on this, and I have got a video up on how to clean these. If you look on the channel, you will find a video about cleaning the cords and things. And basically you just uninstall them and dunk them in a bowl of warm soapy water, and it works brilliantly. So there is the phone. That one is now almost ready to go. What I'm doing here, if you want to see what I'm doing, I'm just sort of twisting the cable around the phone, just so it's not dangling everywhere. Right, so that is that one done. If you want to know about what we do for dial labels, if I've got any here, I've normally got some lurking around somewhere. Yeah, here's some. Basically I print my own dial labels out to the original sort of design. If I put them on the other camera you'll see them better. There you go, like that. So say sort of dial 999 fire police ambulance and 100 for the operator, and I just print those out like that. I did these on a computer, and we just print these out and then we just cut them out. So here's my Blue Peter bit now coming on. So Karen Keating will be up there in heaven smiling down on me as I do this live on the video. Unfortunately, I've not got one I prepared earlier. But the idea's good, isn't it? If you're wondering what my phone was ringing for, by the way, it's because I've been buying things on eBay again. Not phones this time though. Vintage kitchen furniture is what I put a bid on, and it was my phone pinging to say that the auction was near the end. Have I won it or not though? That is the question. We don't know if I've won it yet. We'll find out in a minute. I'll tell you before we finish if I've won it or not. But there you go, I've cut that out carefully, and there's my little thing, my little dial centre for the phone. It's a bit blurred there, I need to hold it a bit further away from the camera. There it is, and that just fits in the centre of there, centre of the dial, like so. And of course I've put this in the way. And then I've got some dial centres which are in this little bag here. And again, I got these from Britphone, I think, some of these made new. And the little dial centre there just pops on. Now it doesn't want to be too tight to fit. If it's too tight to fit, that dial centre, then there's some little lugs on the outside of it. Just file them down a bit so it's not too tight. So if it's too tight, you'll never get it off again. But there it is. There you go. You can see it. And doesn't that look good? That's a blank one. Of course, I do them sometimes with a number on, if I know where the phone's going and I know the number of where the phone's going. Sorry, you can't see it on the wrong camera. If I know the number where the phone's going, I do actually put the number on, and that. But that's just a blank one there. So this phone is now almost complete. It just needs that transmitter in the handset looking at, because it seemed a bit quiet, that one. That sometimes they do go after a while. They're carbon granules. The transmitter is full of lots of carbon granules, and they do kind of clog together after a while. Rather than being granules, they become a sort of carbon mass, if you like, particularly if they've been stored somewhere damp, and basically it stops them working. You can replace them with modern microphones, with modern electret microphones. That can be done, and some of the later 746 phones and the 8746s did have electronic transmitters rather than the carbon granules. But that one, I think, is probably carbon. That one, not entirely sure, but I think it probably is. Right, okay, that about wraps it up for another day. That's another phone that we've fixed there. A big thank you to you all for watching. Just before we go, just a quick reminder that if you want to get in touch with us during the week, then you can do. Remember, we've got the website here, andyshed.coldpress.net. Send me a message through there if you like. And if you found any of the info in this video useful, then you might consider supporting us on Patreon. For all the details about how much it costs and also what you can get from Patreon, then go here, patreon.com/AndysShed. A big thank you for you for watching again, and remember, we've also got a new show that has started, that you will start to see the uploads appearing on the YouTube channel, which is Escape the Shed. It's where I actually get out and about a bit and go all over the country to interesting places and do a few interesting things. And the first episode was last week. Well, this last week just gone, I visited a rather unusual pub. The pub itself is an ordinary country pub, but it's got some very, very interesting neighbours. So if you do a search for Escape the Shed ETS episode 001, and you will find out what that's all about. But from me, until next time, until next week with another edition of Andy's Shed Live, remember, keep an eye out for Escape the Shed in the week, and we'll see you back here next Sunday. Okay, bye for now.